Good evening. Welcome to the Bay St. Louis City Council meeting. This is our second regular meeting, March 21st, 2023, 5:30 p.m. We'll call to order and ask Reverend Reed if he'd be so kind to give us an invocation and pledge.
All right, let's pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Now, Father, we just thank you today, Father, for our place in life and where you've placed us and how you positioned us. Most of all, Father, we thank you for your many blessings upon our lives and upon our community, upon our citizens, and upon our city. We ask that you continue to bless us with an outstretched hand. We know your hand is mighty. And Father, with this council and this administration, that you will continue to give us the wisdom and the knowledge that we need to lead our city, Father, successfully. We ask this and other blessings in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that, Councilman Reed. First item up is the agenda amendments if needed. Mr. Risto, do we have anything that we need to add or?
We don't have anything to add.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right. The next item is the public speakers. We have Mr. Bob Barber and his team with Orion Planning.
Yes, sir, Mr. Lewis. Good evening, board, mayor, and everyone. It's good to be with you. I'm with Orion Planning Design, partner. You have engaged us to facilitate the updating of your 2010 comprehensive plan for Bay St. Louis. We very much look forward to the task. You have an incredibly unique city and one that we all have come to very much appreciate. We are starting the process, which is a four-step process of developing the plan. We've already started, but we're starting publicly now. And we are here over the next few days as a part of step one, which is discovery. We are here to listen and learn. We've done some background research on Bay St. Louis. We know it statistically, and we know it looking from afar on maps and so forth, but we want to know now what Bay St. Louis thinks of itself. And we will do that over the next couple of days through a series of focus groups that we'll be convening. There is a community meeting tomorrow evening. I believe the start time is 5:45. 5:30 to 6:45. 5:30, sorry, over at the community hall. And then there's an advisory group that you've appointed to steer and guide the process along the way. We'll be meeting with them on Thursday and begin to gather qualitative information to supplement and help us interpret the quantitative information that we have already developed. From there, we'll move into a process of visioning. That will result over in a summer date to be determined of a planning week when we'll have our team back and we'll engage the community very intensively in planning the future. And then we will develop a plan, and ultimately you will end up with a comprehensive plan, which is one of the most fundamentally important documents you have in your city, because it sets the vision for the community moving forward. As you know, it provides the basis for the way you zone all your development policy, but it also, when well done, can guide investment in the ways that you would prefer investments be guided in the community. So that's what we're doing here, and we've just come to say hi, and I know you don't want me to take much time, and I won't, but I would appreciate if you'd let our team introduce themselves just briefly. I've already introduced myself. I'm from up in the south of Memphis, starting with Alice.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, just so that those might be watching online, if you don't mind just coming to the podium.
Bob,
Yeah.
you got a card? Number? Card.
Good evening. Allison Mauk, partner with Orion Planning and Design. I hail from Missoula, Montana, so I understand it's been a little cold this week here. It feels like summer to me. I'm happy to be here and look forward to the week. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Allison.
Allison, what is your background? What do you, part of the team?
I do everything. No, my background is architecture and urban planning, but my focus area for this project, I think, is on implementation and some of the environmental aspects. So, but we do it all.
Thank you.
You're next.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Kelly Martin. I'm a planner with Orion, and so I'm glad to be here. Pretty much my specialty is comprehensive planning, which is a good thing that I'm here for that. Joined Orion back at the first of the year, coming from a municipal background. I was a planning director for a small city outside of Chattanooga, and I am from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I was telling everybody here that the last time I was in Bay St. Louis, I was 14, so it's been a minute or two, so glad to be back and look forward to meeting everybody and making a difference for you.
Cool, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Aaron Arnett with Arnett Mulder and Associates. We specialize in economic development. That's what our role is on this project. We've worked with Ryan across the country and close by you on many projects, including comprehensive plans. That's what our role is here. We are super happy to be here. We've been here in Bay St. Louis on various projects over the last couple of decades. And, we are happy to be here now. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Oliver Siebold. I'm a partner with Orion Planning and Design. I'm in St. Simons Island, Georgia, and I'm a landscape architect and urban designer. And I'll be helping with a lot of, well, basically everything.
Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Bert Kirkendall. I'm an engineer and planner with Orion, and happy to be here. Grew up in Laurel and served as city engineer in Hattiesburg, but I'm in Chattanooga now, but really happy to be down here on the Gulf Coast.
Councilman Lewis, thank you for allowing us the time to introduce the team. We would just like you to know who you're working with. So, with those brief introductions, we are happy to be here. We look forward to a productive time. We look forward to a really, really good project over the next year as we've laid it out. And if for any reason we need to be contacted or talked to, or we're ready to do so. That would conclude what I.
Bob, can you just comment
Yes.
on the website that y'all have set
Oh,
up
I'm
and
sorry.
the email
Yes,
opportunity?
Yes. So the website is operational. It is bsl2045.com. There is a place to sign up if you want to be kept abreast of the project developments as well as input opportunities. We have probably have 40 people on the list already, having signed up. But that will serve as our electronic basis for updates on the website, bsl2045.com. The process is explained there. We will post the results of what we learned in the next few days there, and as we move along, it will be updated with project progress.
Excuse me, sir.
Any questions? Yes.
Based out of,
Yes, sir. We're based all over. Orion has partners I'm in just south of Memphis in Hernando, Chattanooga, Jacksonville, Florida, Missoula, Montana, St. Simons Island, Georgia. And then we partner with others. In this case, Aaron Arnett is from South Carolina. So we're all over. We don't have a centralized location, but we're all over.
okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Bob, can you just comment also on just community involvement and how important that is in this process?
It is critical. That's one of the first things that you'll see on the website is community participation is very, very important. We want to cultivate it and develop it because the broader we have community participation, the more confidence you have in the end product. And we obviously drill down at what the community is thinking about its future. So there will be opportunities, this being the opening portion of those opportunities to give input both in person and online. At a certain point, we will survey the entire community electronically, and then there will be other public meetings, gatherings, and focus groups, and those will be publicized periodically as they come about. It's very important. Thank you for the reminder of that. And we want it. We solicit it. We want the inputs. Yeah.
And Mr. Barber, or maybe Mr. Russo, can you speak to, I know you mentioned the advisory council's meeting Thursday, correct?
Correct.
What is the frequency of that advisory council? How often will they be meeting? What's the engagement? I'm assuming you all will be there or in some
We
capacity?
will, yes.
Okay.
We will review, give a synopsis of our results of this visit. They will meet periodically throughout the process, sometimes virtually and sometimes in person. We usually say from 4 to 6 to 8 times, depending upon how the flow is, no less than 4. But yes, they will meet periodically, both in person and virtual.
And on that advisory council, Mr. Russo, did we ever get it solidified? I know we had a list going out there just with all of our appointees and key stakeholders. Did we confirm with that number or what we estimate that?
I forget what
be,
the
or-
total.
We had 18. We have already
I mean, the change
engaged.
that you had said, talked about, that was about it.
Okay.
We have already engaged the advisory group with a survey, and they are very responsive. The inputs are really good. They already provide insight. Now, what we'll do is we'll take those survey results and we'll begin to vet that with the community as a whole, and arrive at as best we can at a consensus vision for where Bay St. Louis would be moved.
And that survey was also sent to the council,
It was. We did.
planning and zoning.
Yeah.
And even our
We
staff.
did. Yeah.
Just to get, and grouped them.
Yeah.
All right,
That practice will continue.
Well, thank y'all. We appreciate everything. Appreciate you coming and your team coming. Sounds like you got a lot of folks doing everything. I don't know what your role is going to be about. No, I'm just kidding.
Herding
I'm
the
just-
sheep, right?
I have a vehicle outside. I'll drive them around.
There
and
you
get
go.
'em to where they
Go
need
get,
to
you
be.
better go get her, right?
That's where we're
Buy
going.
lunch,
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great to meet you all.
Right,
Thank
thank
y'all
you.
for your involvement. Look forward to having you in the city.
If you don't mind, we'll slip out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank
All right.
Thank
you
y'all
guys.
for coming. Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the mayor's report. So first item up, Mayor, you want to go through it?
Yeah, a couple meetings ago, we turned in some changes and all, we came back with some, reduction in those changes. We have, I think it was all sent out the information for the new proposal. But we asked to move forward on that, it was mentioned before how we're gonna pay for it. We talked last meeting about there was $75,000 that was saved throughout the budget, not spent on salaries the first quarter. It should duplicate pretty close to that, giving us around $150,000 by the end of this quarter here, the end of the month. So that I think the whole process was 160.
That's 164,000,
Yeah.
but is that 15% contingency? So it's 194,000. If you, okay, so there's
There's
nothing extra.
No, it's
Okay.
just that price.
169 is.
Well, yeah, I didn't know if there was any extra
No.
or any, okay, that's a question, but, okay.
So, and then again, that's how we can pay for this, and all. And again, this is the needs. This is everything except putting locker rooms through the bathroom. They're still gonna have locker rooms and all, dividing the rooms up front. We did add, 5 additional, keypads for places that need it.
Access doors.
Yes, we had them on the exterior doors. it's gonna be a total of 11 of them now instead of 5, I think it was originally. And, that includes our safes and things like that as well and all, you know, rooms and all. So, I think that last one was around 20,000 upgrade, give or take on it, and that's what brought it up some more. But again, this is everything that we feel like that's needed for this and all, and hopefully nothing else will come up. But we feel very comfortable with what we have here.
What about furniture?
Furniture is not in this.
So how you gonna pay for that?
Well, we're working on that too.
So I guess in looking at this, I noticed that we have let's see here. Looking at the cash balances, everybody wants to pull it up. We got the 2020 general obligation bond at construction fund. We have $388,000, and after reimbursements, we have $233,000, which will give us a total of $622,000. And to my knowledge, none of these funds are committed to anything, or the council hasn't voted to recommit them.
Striping, Gary.
The 220.
Is
The
that-
striping?
Yeah, I can't remember. Is that, I know, I saw them doing that this morning. So is that gotta come out of there still? It's a Jason question, really. Or is that already?
I thought we've already paid for that. I mean,
Okay, I don't know. I was just asking
Huh?
a question.
That's out of the bond.
and how much is that? I mean, we've ordered this
And don't,
a year
don't
or
we
two
have
ago,
something
and
put
they still
aside
haven't
too
done
that
it.
We owe them?
So you're gonna do $600,000 of striping?
No.
Oh, okay. So we got plenty. Okay. Okay.
I mean, we have funds to do this with how we saying now. Furniture and all might be something we wanna look at later or something, or whatever we wanna do with that. But we have the funds available to do these upgrades.
Yeah, you have them in that bond fund.
But without touching the bond fund, we have funds available.
Where are those savings? Where are those not
In the-
obligated?
in
Well,
the-
we haven't received the report on that. I asked for that report last month, Mike.
We showed it last meeting, where we saved $75,000 first quarter of the year on payroll. And we said then that we would have the same amount, give or take, at the end of this quarter, which is end of this month, we would have again about 75,000 to give us about $150,000.
Yeah, but you're still gonna be short.
Well, I mean, yeah, but we're gonna have savings too coming in. I mean, you know, he's not gonna be paid tomorrow, this $160,000. So by the time it's all said and done, we have funds available.
Well, I'm just looking a little bit forward with you're gonna need a whole lot of furniture going in there. And, basically, I think we just need to reserve these funds that are left over, so we can fund that thing and, going forward, so we don't have to worry about where we're gonna do with this money later on.
Councilman Knobloch, repeat what you said about the 2020.
So you have on, line 320, account fund 320, you got 2020 general obligation bond construction fund. And, before this reimbursement of $233,000, you're gonna have $622,169. That's in my, with the exception of 50,000, correct, James? That's not committed to anything.
I thought we was working on something, Mr. Just thinking
We
out
do
loud.
some paving and some, culvert work in,
In your area, I think we're talking
Gillespie.
about, yeah.
Esplanade. I mean, it's not gonna be a huge
But we
amount.
also have money
Yeah.
that can pay for that in the
Modernization, yeah.
county road and bridge
Right.
fund.
That's an accurate statement.
Yeah,
Either
we
one
just
of
gotta.
What statement?
That's an accurate statement.
What's that?
What you just.
County and bridge, there's money in
Bridge
there.
fund.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we got all kind of funds to
473,000 in
pick
there.
this in.
But again, I think, again, we have a way to pay for this without touching that.
Try to work within our budget until.
And moving forward, when we start talking
But these
about,
are budgeted funds.
when we start talking about security and furniture and all, is where we can look at where we're gonna get those funds as well, you know?
Well, so I guess Gary's just train of thought right. So we can use the geo bond for construction, right?
Yeah.
But can we use geo bond for furniture?
Why
Right?
not?
Well, I would just ask, so if you,
the life of the bond, so it's not gonna be, so I can't remember off the top of
Somebody
my head
flip
what all
those.
that
Yeah.
was, but remember that scope of what you had to use? You know, you could use those bond money for, so you'd be able to use it for the
The building,
the
take the
construction
150 and put it in,
Yeah.
put it for
Yeah.
furniture,
Just a swap.
just
Yeah.
swap it, right? That'd be just an idea, right? We could
Mhm.
use
I
the
think what
bond money.
Gary's saying is an accurate statement. I don't believe the council has taken any action to designate any specific projects. There's been talk about some culverts, there's been talk about some paving with funds that are left over, but y'all have not taken action to say, we're gonna do X.
Right.
There'll probably still be 400,000 left if we took down out now, because some of the payroll savings got to go to police overtime and stuff. We was almost at
Yeah, with 205 this,
yeah,
mo-
I
this,
mean,
this month, this pay
police
period, so
overtime got to be
we was at
up.
194, so we're up pushing almost 10,000 a pay period more.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just overtime, I didn't look detailed, you know, if there's a lot of overtime or whatever, but if we are bumping over 200,000, so
So
we're
somebody's
at
got to go
194,
for
so we're at
that.
10,000 a month, so we're.
And what are we paying on that 2020 bond in terms of interest? I mean, that money's just sitting
Well,
there.
that's a lower interest rate, but
But
if
still,
it's,
it's
if
money
we're
that's
using it for brick and mortar,
Yeah.
which we can use. I get the part about the furniture, 'cause
Yeah, no, I
furniture's
do,
not
that's
gonna
what I'm
last,
saying.
you don't wanna pay for furniture for 20 years. But the locker rooms that they were asking for, which really wasn't that much more difference, you can get it right out of this bond and give them the whole package.
Yeah.
And then when we get to the point where we have to buy the furniture, then we'll have those, budget,
Payroll savings.
funds from the payroll
Right.
ordinance that can be used to help pay.
Right.
And by that time, we'll probably be in a new budget season to, you know, to, plan it where it needs to be done.
Go toward the 200,000 we putting up cash.
Gary, I think what you're saying is an accurate,
Yeah,
makes very good sense.
good plan. I'm for it.
So what do we
So
wanna fund out
So
of
we
here that the
authorizing-
chief needs?
Are we
Or that-
authorizing the initial change order, or are we authorizing this new one?
No,
Well,
I
with
think
the-
we authorized what we brought
What we just
forward.
brought forward.
The 169,000.
Well, what about the locker rooms that they were asking
The
for?
locker rooms,
worked it
you
out.
just won't have access through the bathroom to get to them. But the locker rooms will be built
How
in
much more would it be to give them the access?
50,000, but again,
Each man and female in the room has one shower, and there's a set of basically lockers where they can change. There's only one person can take a shower at a time, so there's adequate room.
Yeah, well, when
for each of
when I
those,
walked it
when they
with
go
the
in, they
chief,
change.
you could go from that shower room,
Mhm.
and there's a space about a door space
Mhm.
that they could put in there, and they'd be in that locker room for the ladies.
Correct.
Why don't we at least make that so
But they
it's-
each basically have the exact same size right now, the way this is proposed. And you can only really put one person in the shower.
Well, I get
with a
that. but
Single,
They would
shower.
have to walk all the way around to change, or they.
well, they would change their
shower.
clothes in the area that's by the shower. That's where they would get dressed.
And Chief, do you mind just addressing the council? I just had a quick question for you.
I'm gonna turn that fan.
So the change order presented tonight,
Air
Chief,
conditioning on, huh?
the 169,000, would that give you the functionality needed? I know there were some items that were taken out, but that gives you the functionality needed to move this forward and use some of that space that was previously kind of dead space? I mean, is this?
It definitely does give us the functionality. I mean, obviously, walking through area would be nice, but that's a big price increase, to the locker room. So we'll work with walking down the hall, get to it. We're putting rooms in place for that. We can make do with that.
Okay.
It's ultimately what the council decides. We're good either way. As long as we have
Well,
showers
what
and
I'm
lockers.
getting at, Chief, is that we have a good bit of funds left over from the general obligation bond of 2020. 2020, yeah. No, I'm sorry, it's 2020. 2020. So there's a lot of 20s in here. So I guess the point is that it's the money's there, and it's not committed. So, I mean, I'm just trying to say, hey, listen, council, this is what they're asking for. You know, if we do it now while it's still got open walls, then it's gonna be cheaper. And then after you do it, then you say, hey, we should have done it this way.
It would involve a change order and then going back to the drawing board. We've been in some pretty intense meetings outside of council on this with the contractor. So It's open to the council, what the council decides. We're gonna work within whatever you provide for us. the
Is there
law.
anything else that you see that needs to be done?
Those were that was the main.
We could take this also to free up that 2 point something million, take whatever's left out of this bond and use it for building of this. Take that and put back into our account to where we would have it.
Wait, I'm saying, explain that again.
We have about 600,000, whatever that number is, left in this bond. We could take that, we're putting up 2.5 cash.
Right.
For this building. We could reduce that to 1.9, take that 600,000, whatever that number is, that's left, even if it's 500,000, put that back into our reserve account to where we use this money to come from to start with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It would be, whatever we have, we could do that with, it would free up this money to be used for future projects or whatever else is needed.
What about
Same thing you're talking about.
Right.
Using this money to pay for the police, because it's something that, we talked about a long time ago about bonding it out, because this is a future project. This is a 50, 75, 100-year building that, when in reality, today's citizens should be paying for it, Bay St. Louis residents, not something that was, reserved back in time and paid for it now, and when we talked about it, that's what we were talking about. So if you take whatever's left out of this bond and replace some of that money, that's gonna free that up as well to put back in.
Now, was Depot Road coming out of the bond and the list I turned in a while back?
Yeah,
So
but-
wasn't waiting on some more asphalt quotes to.
We're waiting on that, but we have some road and bridge money.
Yeah, you got plenty of road and bridge money, and we're
have
getting
road and
more,
bridge
so.
money we can use.
We haven't
also
gotten
have
all
the
of it.
Sales tax diversion for infrastructure and all.
I would like to see a lot of that go towards drainage and culverts, because we got
We are,
major,
and that's
major
some of the
drainage
things,
problems in
we're
the city.
looking at and all, but we do have some of that available.
Yeah.
Both of those two funds available for
Mhm.
infrastructure,
Modernization tax.
Yeah, modernization tax.
So I'm not sure what's in those. I don't have my paper with me on those accounts.
Modernization,
Probably about
you have almost 700,000.
700.
Mm-hmm.
And then we probably got our road and bridge.
470.
470, and you're
We
gonna
got
be
over
getting the
$1
other
million
half of it.
right there
Yeah.
that we can use on projects
Yeah,
as
okay.
far as moving forward with road and bridge. But again, if we can take funds and replace some of our cash that we're using to build this,
Yeah.
I think it's,
So what you're saying is use the bond to finish off the police department.
Instead of all the.
I'm good with
Instead
that.
of all that 2.5 million we took back from Zeta and put towards it.
and then that money
Keep
would
that
be
in
moved
reserve.
back.
Put that in
Whatever that
reserve.
amount we use
Mhm.
could, beyond, besides this 150, 60,000, would go back into.
But you can't
reserve
put
fund.
yourself in a hole on the police department if you're using the bond money to do it, but you still have to account for the furniture you're gonna need.
Correct, and we're working on that as well.
And then we have to
But
spend that
just
money.
that's
about
not a decision today.
Yeah.
We can say we can take it out the bond and do these improvements, but the other, we still have time on that.
So you need a motion to approve these change orders and a funding source.
And the funding source would be out of the
I'd-
2020 bond.
Okay.
169,488.
And to better answer your question on that, the officers speaking on behalf of the office would prefer walkthroughs to the bathroom, to the larger block. No doubt about it. I understand the cost involved with that
But
change
cost
and
of going
change
back
order.
now to get another change order and everything, and
Cost.
Well, I
Like
think
a
if
The
you're
officers would love
looking
that.
at-
They would appreciate it.
If you're looking at a $50,000 additional cost, and say, let's just do it now, because you're looking at $600,000 less whatever the 50 is that Mr. Knies
remember
is
now,
saying.
we got a couple $100,000 for, camera systems we're looking at.
Because this is just
Security.
wiring we're putting in here. This is no
Yeah,
cameras
yeah,
now.
we're looking at security, and we're also looking at furniture. So we're looking probably a rough estimate, 250, 300,000 to be fair.
350.
Yeah, but you can't use the bond money for that.
No, but again, the savings of the other money,
Yeah, 150 is
can't.
part of that, right? You
Mhm.
got
Yeah.
so
1,000.
just something to think about.
Yeah.
To me, $50,000, $30,000, whatever it is $30,000.
Adds up.
Still a functional,
I think it would
very
be,
functional.
I think it would be,
Yeah.
we'd be making a mistake not doing it now.
Well, and I know we
Just,
Yeah, and I know a couple weeks back when we got the initial change order and the big hit of the total cost of it, we had asked this to go back and reconfigure, keep the functionality, but get that cost down. And it appears we've, Jason, Mayor, Mr. Reese have all done that, and Mr. Wyckoff. So I hate flip-flopping, going back and forth on these change orders, but again, I know we want the functionality. Mr. Wyckoff, you can come up and speak to
And this,
anything.
without these added, security locks and all, we're looking at about $140,000.
So remember, when this building was originally designed under the previous chief, there were no showers in this building at all. It was asked, the questions were asked, it was said that they weren't necessary. So when the design was changed to add the showers, they were added into adjacent spaces next to the bathroom. We're kind of, there's a lot going on in that area right there. And then, this thing morphed into wanting more lockers. Now, there are 4 lockers in each shower area right now for people who bring their gym bags, they need to change, or they have some incident, in the field, they need to take a shower. They go into the shower room, they've got a cubby to put their stuff, they take a shower, change, and leave. Now, when it expanded to have an adjacent locker room, the only way to get to the shower is through the bathroom right now. And now we're breaking a hole in a wall to get into the locker room, so that to get from the locker room to the bathroom, you have to go through the shower room. That makes no real sense circulation-wise, but that's how that layout came about, and that's what was presented 2 weeks ago. Functionally, if an officer brings their gear to the station, they lock it up, they need it for after hours, or they need it for a shower, whatever, they go to the gym after they get off their shift, they put it in a locker. If they need it to take a shower, they get it out of their locker, they walk to the bathroom and go to the shower room that's adjacent to the bathroom. So that function, as we have it laid out now, that with this cost that you have there, that's how that works. But if you go back to the design we presented 2 weeks ago, one of the basic circulation errors in that plan is that you have to go through the shower room to get from one room to the other. And since it's a one-person shower,
they can't get the locker room.
if there's somebody in the shower, nobody can get from the bathroom to the locker without going out in the hall anyway. So there's no real benefit to go into this proposed plan, I think. I think that we're best leaving it the way it is. Okay?
Thank you.
That's my opinion.
Yep, no, thank you.
But I completely agree, we should take it out of the bond.
All right, so
Trying to get it on.
we need a motion on,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I was just agreeing with Mayor and Mr. Knobloch, we should take it
Yeah.
out of the bond.
Yeah, I do agree. I think that's a
So it was
good
Mr.
dialogue.
Knobloch's idea, I'll let him make the motion if he wants.
Councilor Knobloch, if there's any further discussion?
Say that again? I'm
So
sorry.
since it was your idea, I'll let you make the motion to fund it out of the bond if you want.
Okay.
Let's approve it first.
Yeah,
Approve the
let's
change
approve
order.
it first.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the change order from the police department in the amount of $169,486, no cents.
That's it.
To be paid from out of the
2020.
2020 GO Bond Construction Fund, that's account number 320 fund.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Knobloch, second by Councilman Hoffman. Any further discussion? With the motion?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 7-0.
Next, we have, rental rates at the train depot. We come up with some ideas, some rates. This isn't set in stone, want everybody to look at it. This compares to what other areas have, Long Beach, Gulfport, some areas they have. Nothing is apples to apples in this, but this is something we can start with. Look at it and see ideas, input, thoughts on what's here. And then, if we need to, we can bring this back next meeting with some updates. So right now, just, thoughts on this.
Yeah, I've got a couple thoughts. I do want some consistency. Back in September of '22, we redid our rates for our community centers. We made very consistent the profit, not for profit. And I think we delineated it by, it was the same Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think there was a break. I think it was half for the nonprofits, say Monday through Thursday, the less busy times. So I'd like to see some consistency there as we did with both community centers and the harbor. And, you know, something that mirrors that. I also kind of like to see more of a policy on how we address, you know, items such as, I know you've got the security deposit, cleaning deposit, but also, you know, cancellation. What's the notice of cancellation is, you know, that they get their money back. Looking at a couple different municipalities that they had specified, say 60, if it was after 60 days, or, you know, 60 days or more, they'd get a full refund. If it's been that 60 days, there's not a refund for cancellation. So just more of a policy, and also clarifying, and I know this is probably part of the application process, but I'm assuming every applicant has to have a certificate of liability insurance verification. Is that correct? Is in the application process?
Yes.
So can we get something more of a policy that would address some of this with some of those stipulations on here? I think going nothing for local nonprofits is inconsistent with what we're doing for our other properties around town. You know, so I would like to look at whether that's a structure. I looked at Long Beach. I think you guys said you kind of mirrored this with Long Beach. Long Beach is, you know, very similar in that, yes, it's $400 a day for a festival. They have a base rate, and then they tack on. You know, if they use a pavilion, they add $50. If they use the gazebo, that's $50. And I think what they have for nonprofits, it's, you know, upon verification of the 501c with the state, that they would have for consideration half of the rate as a profit. Like I said, we redid those a few months back, and I'd like to see it more consistent with that.
Great, good point.
I'm good.
Long Beach, like you were just referring to, I've got George Bass's email to me, has the 60-day prior notice to get a refund.
Yeah, I don't know if
Exact
we have
language
that,
you
if we
just
have that
quoted.
on our
Anything less
application.
than 60 days is forfeited.
Yeah.
You know.
And
One,
touching
one comment that I would bring up that kind of as we discussed back and forth was, how do you handle things like the misfits that go in and have just a car gathering on a Saturday? They're not buying anything, they're not selling anything, but you still want to
They
give them
parking
access.
they
They're
parking
just
on
parking
the
there.
side.
So how do you handle that?
I think you do more of a
And
tier.
want to encourage it, because they're going to have 50 cars, and hopefully they're going to go eat downtown.
Yeah.
And that's where we kind of struggled. We were kind of like, all right, well, let's just put something.
You know,
We've
they're
got
not
to get.
using the
We got to start
pavilions.
talking.
You know, and originally, I think we had so much when you rent it, you get the bathrooms, and the bathrooms are completely separate price, you know, on that, similar to what you're talking about now, you know, different fees and all.
Well, I think it's a tiered, I mean, I'd like to look at a tiered rate. I think, you know, there's another municipality just mentioned, Mr. Russo, that they do have that. So there's a base rate and then add-ons. But if it's basic, now, you know, if it's a festival, hey, you've got, you know, got that full daily rate or full usage. But I think you do kind of a tiered that if it's, because at the end of the day, it's still, giving it away, it's taking that away from potentially having, you know, a for-profit that, you know, that would be able to at least cover. We just want to cover the expenses on it.
And that quote was exactly something he said to me while we were going back and forth on this. Was, if you've got somebody like that wants to put a blues festival on, compared to the Misfits, I'm going to use them for example, you know, that not coming using the whole grounds, but all of a sudden, or I think we were using birthday party. Somebody wanted to have just a gazebo for $50 to do a birthday party, but you have somebody wanting to come in and do a blues festival, like scheduled in May.
Well,
We want to make sure we have that blues festival. It's a different rate.
They might have vendors and they sell
Oh, it's a
food
whole
Right,
different
yeah.
ballgame.
Oh, it's
and all
different.
that kind
But
of.
what we was talking
But
about
once
is
we've reserved that
tying it up
pavilion for
for
$50,
a
we got to
private
tell
event.
the blues festival no.
For that weekend, yeah.
And so that's why we were going back and forth, and I was like, well, let's get this out, let's just start talking, you know?
And one of the things we talked about that,
Birthday parties and single pavilion rentals, only being able to do it a week or two ahead of time instead to prevent, you know, there's no reason I shouldn't be able to call and reserve my kid's birthday party for $50 a year in advance and eliminate a festival
That
to
makes
coming
sense.
from the city.
and we always have, you know, McDonald Field that's available over there, you know, MLK Park there, you know, with that facilities, it's gonna be there and all. We have other areas they can, you know, private parties like that can be done. But again, 2 weeks out, if you planning a big event, you can know more than 2 weeks out, it's gonna be booked.
Yeah, you're gonna need months to
Yeah.
get.
So, you know, you could open it up at that time, you know, if anybody's wanting to rent a small space, or whatever, for whatever reason, do it.
And touching on the liability aspect of things, I know St. Tammany Parish and Harrison County, I have to register, name them additional insured before I can set up on any city properties. My business does, so if anybody wants to rent something from me, I'm a vendor registered with the city that's approved to make sure that non-insured people are setting up on their property. So that's something we probably need to put a policy in place for also.
So if somebody has a birthday party or some event and they hire your firm,
Yes.
in order for you to bring your stuff out there, you have to name the city as additional insured. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes, and I do it yearly.
But
So
it's already
for a
been
whole
done in
year.
advance.
So when somebody goes to rent the park,
It's part of
they
his
give them
licensing
a
fee.
vendor list that's approved vendors that can set up on the grounds.
Okay.
They can't just get anybody, it's gotta be on that list because that's who's been verified.
Right.
They have insurance and everything else.
Any
like
type
that.
of vendor,
Huh?
any type of.
Pretty much, yeah. When it goes on the city grounds, they have to be approved through the municipality. They have to be approved vendor.
So I agree, I think getting that in policy, and again, I'm assuming that's right now part of the application process, but.
Cause it still is a public park. And so if somebody wants to grab a picnic table and throw a party on it, do they have to call and reserve it?
I would think if they didn't reserve it, no, I wouldn't think so.
Hmm.
I would think if they weren't trying to reserve it,
Just going to.
If it is reserved, then they wouldn't be allowed to
Picnic
do it. But just out of the blue, wanna go out there and sit around the table, eat whatever you wanna do, it's open.
Mike, when we had that volleyball party in Diamond Head last year, and you reserved those two picnic tables, we pay for that?
I did.
How much was that?
$50 per, maybe 75 per, something like that.
I think the POA does that.
Yeah, it's
It's like $50, and I think they do the same thing as if you do it like 2 weeks in advance, and the county may do that too. Like it's open to the public if nobody's there, but if you want to make sure it's yours, a couple weeks in advance, you can schedule it.
Yeah, if nobody was using it and I just wanted to go out there on a Saturday, I could
Yeah.
pull up and
Yeah, I think
take
that's
full
right.
It's the
advantage
same way the
and not
pavilion
pay.
at Washington Street is,
Yeah.
through the county.
Mhm.
It's open to the public, but if you go out there and reserve it, then you have the rights to it.
Cool, good
So I
suggestion.
think we're on the right page.
Yep.
Just need to do some cleanup and some additives, but, again, we'll have it for the next meeting, that with everything, and hope to get it approved then.
Do we have, I mean, I know we mentioned the Misfits and not to single them out, but do we have them booked? Do we have those bookings for them?
Yes, the Blues has their dates booked. They're aware we're working on this. There's a couple other events that's booked. One lady has 2 arts and crafts booked, spring, fall. Near East is booked, and they're all aware that fees is gonna be up, there. Just not sure of the amount. And they're okay with it and everything, But the Blues, the Misfits, it's like car club, not a car, truck club. They wanna know if they can go out there Saturday night and park. They don't want anything, they just wanna go hang out,
They can just go park there
They're
and not have an event. They can just go, anybody can just go
we can
gather there.
and that's all they want to do. They don't have a band or anything like that. They're not using the pavilion. They just wanna know if they could go out there, it might be 50 of them, might be 100 of them out there.
What do we need, and Ms. Smith, you might be able to clarify, so Depot Row is considered a street, right? I mean, the old Depot Lane? Depot Way?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we couldn't cut that off or shut that down, that has to go through council, right?
No, we can shut it down.
No, I mean, I think.
Upon
it-
council
yeah.
approval?
I'm gonna ask that question later on in the meeting. I thought we had intended to shut it down with the bollards.
What
And
happened
only
with the
open it up
bollards?
on special occasions,
Yeah.
make it more of a park,
Yeah.
more for people to walk around. Now, again, I have it on for later discussion about that, cause I thought, cause we're charging for renting bollards or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, it
And I'm
was.
like,
Well, we wanted to try to block it off, but then with the buses coming in
well,
there,
that would be the special occasion.
somebody
you
gotta
move
go out there and open and close it and open
Right.
and close it and all.
Okay, I thought we wanted to make more like a park, so
We
it's not a
do.
throughway.
We
So kids can run
originally,
around and not
it
worry about
was,
cars,
with the
but-
ballots,
Right.
we've gotta have someone that's know when the buses is coming, who's gonna take care of that.
And I've noticed
So we
people.
got 2 sets of ballots. Up
Both ends.
by the depot and then down by the duck pond.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yes, that is to try to keep through traffic.
Right, so kids can run around and not to worry about it, yeah, okay.
And those kind of other fees we put on there were things that are gonna be taxing our public works department. You know, things that come set up
Barricades,
100
yes.
barricades.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you're talking about a day to put them out and a day to take them up, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be an expense.
The answer is no.
So if somebody says that, then, all right.
Go get Josh, get you some bouncy houses and block it off.
You know, one of the other things we looked at hard was trash. You know, for a birthday party or whatever, this and that and all, you know, you're not generating anything. When you have a full-fledged event and we have to haul truckloads of trash off that goes to the garbage, we fill our dumpster up, 40 yard, 30 yard,
$50
whatever
to
it
dump
is,
it.
it's costing us $300 or $400 to empty it.
Yep.
So in case of big events and all, they're required to bring their own front load dumpsters, 8 yard, whatever those are, 4, 6, 8, whatever they think they may need to have it hauled off that way. That way we're not paying, you know, again, we charge them $400, it's costing us $400 just to haul the trash off.
Right.
Well, I think we'll get a better gauge and estimate too, once you get those big festivals and the usage on the pavilions and electricity that you're using, so it's subject to change
day,
based
2
on what the
day
expenses
food.
are. Yeah.
You know, we try to urge most of them to use the, you know, include the people across the street, you know, those vendors, and everything is working pretty well with that. They usually set up, you know, out front and everything and all, so it's worked out pretty good trying to bring the few events that's been going on, bringing people over to their business and all. You know, we got one coming up in mid-April, I think it's Arts and Craft. They leased the building from us, Community Hall, and they asked if they could extend booths that way if needed. So they rented the hall, the big hall and everything, and if they have overflow, they want to go down there and all. And again, they included the businesses across the street and everything involved in that.
But that wouldn't be, so they wanted the community hall all the way down to the depot. So they would fall under the provision of the community hall and the depot, renting that out, correct? But, so they'd pay for both those rental
Across
fees.
the street, right? Where's the demarcation lines, the street, the demarcation line, the little wedding chapel? Yeah, I mean, right?
Yeah.
Is there,
you're saying it's
right?
gonna tie up.
If it's
And,
gonna,
you know,
it's gonna
and
cross
the
the
whole
street.
depot.
Not sure what they're gonna need, cause they
Right.
don't know who's gonna show up, you know, for the vendors and all.
Right.
I know last year was a pretty good event back there. They had, well, I think they had maybe 3 or 4 band stages starting at their building. The theater, the hall had something there. So they wanna just extend it to make it different stages for events, try to, you know, attract people, you know, from the downtown, tying it into that and all. You know, so.
And that is, I mean, some other activities that have been out there is weddings have called, you know, the possibility of being out there again. They're gonna produce trash if you got a caterer and you got a bar and everything else. And Arts and Crafts Fair, was that a Chalmette or something? So it's not even somebody locally, but they would like to use it. And when you're throwing an Arts and Crafts Fair, that is generating revenue, a good amount of revenue. And they're gonna produce a lot of trash. So that's why we had that little note at the bottom that the city can make you, hey, we want you to bring a dumpster, you're gonna need security. What was the other one? Or portalettes even, depending on the size of the crowd. But we can direct that. But those are some of the uses that we've seen, like the Arts and Crafts Fair, weddings, Blues Festival now. One group we met with, now it's been about 6 months, you know, talked about the idea of doing a Wednesday in the park type of thing, kind of like comparison to Lafayette Square. I think they call it Wednesday in the Square in New Orleans downtown, and trying to do that same type of thing. So again, all that promotes quality of life and brings people together, brings people downtown. Hopefully they end up eating in restaurants and doing other stuff. So we got to make it where they can actually make it happen.
Right. Cool.
All right, so you're gonna look at maybe restructuring, look at some tiers.
Yeah, if you got, look, between now and then, send ideas.
Yeah.
So we'll have it.
Okay.
All right.
We'll
Good
move
start,
forward
Joe.
from there.
Yeah.
All right.
The next one is, would like to go into agreement with KLR Consulting for grant writing. What this is at a rate of $35 an hour. This would be anything, you know, through administration's approval. Anything with a matching part to it would have to have council approval before we go forward. We think there's a lot of opportunities out there for the different agencies, for the different areas, Parks and Rec, there's a lot available. Again, we don't have a grant writer. We've checked with some other ones. This is, a really good opportunity to see what we can do and move forward with this.
So I didn't see anything in the agreement. I think it was maybe in one of the email dialogues, but there was a cap of $5,000 per grant that would.
No, it's 5,000 total. If we use that, then we'd come back and ask for more. That 5,000 may take us into next year. We don't know what we're going after, how many we're going after. A grant might take an hour to write, it might take 10 hours to write. So that fee would be based on the amount of time that is spent writing that grant. It's not for one grant.
This pretty much just a not to exceed.
Not to exceed the
contract.
I don't see it in the agreement, though. I don't see anything in there in terms of verbs in the agreement, not to exceed.
That what?
I don't see anything in the agreement that's reflected.
No, the agreement doesn't have it, but for y'all, if y'all wanted to say, hey, kind of cap it to give more control, that's something that y'all can do.
Well,
But
then
verbally,
they need
if
to-
you want to
they
go over,
need
then you don't have to go amend the agreement.
On the compensation, you just need to add a thing, not to exceed $5,000 without council approval
Exactly.
on there. Because if it's not in there, it ain't
Yeah,
happening.
I mean, if it's, yeah.
It's all in the details.
Yeah.
So just add that and bring it back to us.
What's the out on?
Well, I think
so-
they had a grant they was trying to get.
Yeah, can we
Pretty
move
quickly.
forward with adding that?
Approval
Yes.
of contingent administration add.
And make sure it's in our motion also.
Next meeting, we can add it to the.
The reason on that, I know Toby has identified a Homeland Security grant that was due at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
This is
good.
why he's kind of pressuring us,
That's the only
pressuring us
reason-
to
That's
try
the
to
only
move
reason we're
forward.
trying to get pushed through now, is
But-
so we can move on that
but-
grant.
We did put language in there, just to say, that, again, prior to even pursuing any grants, that the mayor has to give that approval if there is no match. If there is a match, that has to come to y'all first. Okay, so that way we can't obligate city funds without y'all. And then we wouldn't be working on that grant until that approval is there, either by him or by y'all. So that was some language we added to, again, put some controls.
I mean, I appreciate the chief. He sent out a very
Nice
detailed
email.
justification on what the benefit of this service is and a detailed plan of what it could do to benefit and what the goal is.
That's what 5,000 was.
Isn't there a
Yeah.
cap in the hours? Couldn't you just change the hours
No, well,
in the contract? Was
No,
there
there's
a
not.
cap?
We didn't
the
put any.
chief's emails,
that
but
was
I
it's
don't
not
see it
5,000.
in there. Somehow that got left out.
Yeah, no, we scratched the hours. Part of the language we took out.
But I guess the point I'm making, very good details, Chief. Thank you for justifying that. What other, from an administrative standpoint, I heard Parks and Recs. I mean, what other projects have we not been able to procure that hiring this service would allow us? I mean, is there anything similar to what the chief?
Fire department, it grants police department, Parks and Recs, different things, funding for the building that we're in, grants for that, to fix up and bring into today's world and all,
So is this KLNR, are they more geared towards law enforcement? Or, I mean, I'm just curious in terms of reference.
Reading her resume, it sounded like she was prior law enforcement and had a lot of background in law, so the person may more hone in on that, because that's what it sounded like and what I read.
Yeah,
in the
that's
email.
kind of what.
Yes.
Do you have any, she's still here?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Actually,
Oh,
it'd be
okay.
great to hear from.
Hey y'all, I'm Kirby Rhodes. I was born and raised here, and I've been helping the Hancock Resource Center write grants for quite a while.
Okay.
So my professional experience is in law enforcement.
Okay.
I was an analyst
Mhm.
prior to starting my own business, but I have worked with several Department of Justice grants, a domestic violence grant, ESG, Emergency Solutions Grant, deals with the homeless population.
Okay.
So, I don't necessarily have experience writing a Parks and Rec grant, but I have no doubt that I could do it.
Okay. Good. That sounds good to me.
Thank you. Made a motion approved, not to exceed. Need to make a motion to go into, approve contract with KLR Consulting, for, grant writing, not to exceed $5,000 a year.
Rate of $35 per hour.
$35 an hour as part of the compensation in the contract.
All right. We have a motion by Councilman Seal.
Second.
Second by Councilman Reed. Any discussion before we vote the motion?
Only discussion would be to add the stipulation in there about if it's a match, the council approves it.
It's in there,
Okay.
change and revision.
It's in the motion, okay. That's it.
motion?
Aye.
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 Nay. Motion carries 6-1.
Thank you. D is, asking to approve surplus and disposal of assets at City Hall. I think we sent a list out. These are broken items not working. We have about 3.5 pages of items, and we're asking just to,
They're just trashing these, throwing them away?
yes,
They coming off our city inventory list?
that's next. But this two and next,
One at a time, huh?
yes.
Well, shout out to the mayor's assistant, Kim, is working extremely hard, and I think my email to y'all Saturday kind of commented on this item. She is going through and saying, all right, things are less than $1,000, they don't need to be in Encode in the fixed asset inventory. So we're trying to move that out, to clean it up, to get that off of our audit findings. So this is all part of it.
So they're obsolete like the radios. They're obsolete. Portable breath testers are obsolete. So we're gonna surplus them to someone, or they're going to landfill?
Unless we know of someone that may take these and refurbish or want to do that, they're going to the landfill.
Okay. I just didn't know what
Which,
option.
whatever can go to the landfill or not.
The radios
If
and
not,
batteries.
yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, motion.
Motion by Councilman Seal, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman DeSalvo. Any discussion?
It's chairs.
With the motion?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Next one's, similar. This is stuff we have on the list, we wanna remove from the list because it's under the $1,000 threshold. We're not throwing these away, all of them, we just remove them from that assets list that we don't have to keep up with every year.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Seal,
Second.
second by Councilman Knobloch. Discussion? With the motion?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 7-0. All right.
Hopefully we'll have more of those coming your way.
Hey, the only other thing I had, I sent an email out late, it's about officers that has been recognized. I think everybody got an email, and I do have a few hard copies we can give, paper copies. The chief has put together a package, next meeting, we hope to have a lot more information on that as far as funding goes. But we're looking to try to send 4 people, 2 sponsors, along with the chief and Detective Olson as well, to this, to recognize our officers, from last year that we lost. So it's an opportunity, it's a very good opportunity, and we hope to have some information on funding. We'll probably ask for some funding as well. The price is included in that email, what we're looking at for 2 officers to go, the cost and all. So again, next meeting we'll have more of an idea, but just, if you can look it over in the meantime, you have any questions, send them out as we get information and all. I know the Legion we're looking at, they put on a fundraiser over there. There might be possibilities of that. I think they're looking at funding a couple of them and some of the families and all. So we're just seeing where we at on that, but we do want to send, for this first year, I'd like to send 4 of them up, 3 officers and the chief to this, so.
And just to specify on that,
Just talk a little bit about it.
would it be, Chief, if you want to come and speak a little bit to it, I had a quick question based on the performer that you had given.
Certainly. Every year up in Washington DC, they do the National Memorial Services, recognize all our police officers who lost their lives in line of duty. This year alone, we had 235 officers slain, line of duty, 2022. There's been 19 now to date. Traditionally, at these services, there's a candlelight vigil that they want the families of the fallen officers to attend, and also the actual law enforcement memorial service that's held by the Fraternal Order of Police, National Fraternal Order of Police, that's held on the lawn of the U.S. Capitol. And those 2 events in themselves, it's essential. Not only do we have the family members there for that, which the American Legion is funding that part of it, but also it's tradition for each department, each family be represented by one of the officers, one of the slain officers, co-worker from that department. also, and traditionally, you also have, you have other members that go, which we don't have, like they would have an honor guard, police department send up for a, we call it black and blue, Yorker band that would play, bagpipe. We don't have that, but we have, in place of that, we send two additional officers to make it for, so that's what's being proposed. It goes on every year, nationally. They have, workshops for the officers in attendance. They have 2 days workshop. And so all that's been, I've laid all that out and cost breakdown and what the dates are. Anybody sign up representing the city of Bay St. Louis, what they pay to. For you to read over and talk the next time. I appreciate the time. To talk about our fallen off. Need the city to have representation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
And so Mayor, we'll have that next meeting. We'll have a little more
Yeah.
detail. Okay.
Thank y'all.
All righty. Next up is council business.
I'm good.
You
Thank
good?
you.
Councilman Nalbot?
I'm good.
Councilman Steve?
Pickleball courts. Haven't talked about those in a while. We gotten any prices or anything, or
We do have some prices,
what do we have?
still searching for funds.
What's the price? What we got? What's the prices
Remember
for?
the price off the top of your head about,
We got proposal. I mean, we got written proposals we can send out to everybody so we can look at, or just a off the cuff type of guesstimates. Right.
Well, so this weekend,
Jason, come on up.
Kyle was over there.
Might
too.
as well bring you up to the front.
We were in Goche at the soccer complex out there, and they also have pickleball courts now out there at the complex.
In
And
the Jackson County, yeah.
yeah, in Jackson County, and they have the courts, but they don't have, like a fence built around each court and lights for each court and all that. They have the courts kind of laid out four next to each other, one, next to the other, separated by a certain number of feet or whatever, but, to me, it looked like it would keep the cost down considerably.
Just start.
Compared to building out something with fences in between each court and, lights to be able to play at night.
How many did they have?
I think at this point in time, people just want, they want the ability to go out and have a pickleball court if they wanna go play on Saturday morning or whatever. And in summertime, you probably play till 8 o'clock in the evening, we don't need lights necessarily out there to enjoy them. And fences, Now, the other thought I had too, was did continue to develop this towards McDonald Park is, with that area as it is now, with the splash pad there, with the open fields, the playground park that's there, the bathrooms, and then if we have these pickleball courts out there, we probably would be much better served by fencing in with a, low, chain link, storm fence, whatever you wanna call it, around the entire exterior of the park, leaving room for parking outside of those fences with some gate areas or opening areas that go between, so we don't have kids chasing balls out in the streets and different things like that, may come as things
I
develop.
think originally when we set it up, we was looking at McDonald Field to build it and everything. One of the things, when people come and they made their presentations and all, is how far do you want to go with this? Do you want something, a court here and a court there and all, just for general use, public? Do you want to get into where you're hosting tournaments and this and that, which, again, it depends what we want. So when you get into it and all, and we start talking about, well, might be something we want to work into, is where we can start hosting tournaments, bigger tournaments and this and that, as, bringing people into the city like others do with their recreation and all. We ran into a problem at McDonald Field, we think, because of parking. So reality, to put a big complex there like we was looking at, with I think it was 6 or 8 of them originally, 6 of them, would be good for day-to-day use, and maybe like you saying, Gene, without all the bells and whistles right now to get started, and start with 3.
Yeah, 2
you
to
know.
3 would be
Yeah.
And,
start.
and that way you can continue to add on
Right.
as needed and all. So, I think we just need to, commit to it, and I know everybody wants it, but you just need to sit down and commit the funds to it.
Yeah, let's get 3 basic courts. What's it gonna cost to put concrete and coat them?
Yeah.
That's all, in the net, whatever, whatever the hell you need.
Just a rough estimate, probably 3 courts.
I think a single court was about 40,000.
Yeah.
That's a hundred.
We're
We
looking
were
about
250,000 for 6 court.
Let's say probably 150,000 for 3 courts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take.
Gary's got
Can
that
we
money.
use bond?
Every day.
But can we use the 2020 bond funds for that? The money we were just looking at, the 622,000?
Cause,
And that's
it's-
construction. I mean,
Yeah, it's designated
that's
for
capital
recreation.
improvements.
I mean,
Some
Or
of
you
it,
can
or-
use the other money,
well, the other
Payroll savings?
payroll savings.
We got to buy furniture, people. We got to buy furniture and cameras
Sales
too.
tax
So let's.
conversion.
That's
We're
what I'm
not.
saying.
We're not on a
Spending-
shopping trip today.
I don't know.
Michelle, you can't go to Frugal's no more.
I'd have to check that one, Gary.
I'm just
No.
saying, I think we do have the funds out there.
Right. We need to look at that and move forward. Just the basics to get it started.
Start moving.
I
Jason,
agree.
why couldn't we just cut some diagonal parking on both sides?
That's what
I
I'm.
think that's how we had it laid out.
That's how it's
Yeah.
laid out.
And that's what I'm saying. And then, if we need to put a fence where you parking outside the fence and then everything inside is fenced off.
It's
And
big,
from
it's
the street.
block to block, it's a huge piece of property.
And then
all the
include
way
lighting.
around it. I mean,
Would that
yeah.
include lighting? That way,
Everything.
everybody,
Lighting, decorative fence, sidewalk, I mean, it was
Yeah.
the full package.
Yeah.
And you could definitely do that in faith. But
Yeah.
Right.
if you want tournaments and you're gonna look for a lot of people, then the parking could be a
Well,
problem at McDonald
And you've
Field.
got to get the court certified and all that kind of stuff to do tournaments.
Well, this was,
For this,
these proposals
Yeah.
was with certified courts.
right.
Yeah.
I think for
Everything.
this, we'd
The
look at-
distance, the fence distance,
We need to walk
distancing and
first
everything.
before we
phase
run.
it, just phase it in.
Yeah, we need to start walking before we run. And I think just get basic courts put in today or move forward and try to get them.
I agree.
So,
We'll bring that back at the next one.
all right. Thank you.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Mr. Steele,
I'm
anything
good.
else?
Thank you.
Councilman Hall?
The only other thing I had, I received a call from someone the other day. Apparently a golf cart was trying to cross the bridge by the duck pond right there, where the sidewalk goes across the backside of the duck pond.
I thought you meant the Bay Bridge.
That's what I was going to say.
No, I thought
That wouldn't be the first
I've
one, though.
seen that
thought
one
that at
before.
first too, but he said they got about halfway, got about midway, and they literally got stuck, and they couldn't get the cart to go forward.
Maybe they
or
tore it
backward.
up.
So they had to crawl out the side, and
So we got to put up
Push
a
it
here's
through,
your
so-
sign.
we need to put up a sign that says not for golf cart use or.
You know, we can only put
so.
so many signs. I know. Idiots ain't gonna apply to them anyway.
I know, right?
I know.
Yeah,
They'll just steal them.
you can't
No,
fix stupid.
not even
That's
duct
right.
tape.
Yeah, we'll get
Just
something.
so that was my response exactly to.
They saying we keep making things safer. We're not thinning the herd.
Mhm.
Yes.
Hadn't heard that one.
That's it. Thank you.
Councilman Reed?
I've not heard about that one, though.
Mayor, how close are we on the, rec director?
Waiting, made the offer, waiting on, he's reviewing it with his wife. Bringing it back to his family. Hope to know something in the next week or less, hopefully maybe the end of this week.
Okay. What about the land that I mentioned to you between, North Bay Elementary and our sports
That's
complex?
school property.
The school property, are they willing to sell it? Are they looking at it?
Nope.
Not willing to do anything with it, just let it sit there?
I'm not saying they'll let it sit there, I'm not, but they're not gonna sell it.
They're not gonna sell it.
There's some property behind it that the casino owns, we've talked about before. Might be an opportunity back there. That would be, I guess to the west, further back in there.
At the bottom.
And how much of that is wetlands, I don't know.
We walked at it. Goes down pretty quick back into there. We walked at it a few times down there.
But
We talking about buying that and putting it drive.
if you go between fields 5 and 6 and the girls' field, back in that area back there.
Yep.
I know when they built them parks, Buddy would probably know too, they got in a little bind because of wetlands in that area.
That damn buddy.
So But yeah, that, you know, they're not gonna sell their property. So
I mean, would they lease it to us?
that can, you know, just like we have now, yes.
Ball, we put a ball field in, right? I mean,
Yes.
not
They're open
major
to
improvements. but
expansion
some.
of that and everything.
Yeah, some improvements, so.
Yeah. You know, we've looked at some opportunities up where the old North Bay Elementary was with some projects up there. We're talking about putting a gymnasium up there when that was moving forward and all, a multi-purpose building that could host basketball, volleyball, nothing big, but the way you'd have something for the rec leagues and all.
And Mike, you know, you, I, Mike, and Heather, you know, we talked about, you know, in our upcoming comprehensive plan, basically looking into buying several acres for ourselves, you know, to do our own, you know, just in case you get, you know, somebody on the school board that, you know, they want to go in a different direction, we can't use the fields no more. You know, so, you know, I hope that's still, you know, on the table that.
Still, I think it's gonna come out in comprehensive plan, a lot of rec opportunities, you know, and to move forward now.
Right.
But yes, we're looking, and there's some opportunities maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I guess, be patient on, you know, hopefully something falls to us.
Okay.
But
You
to
know,
find the amount of land we're looking for is gonna be hard, and, you know, right here inside the city. You know, we can look on the outskirts, things like that maybe. So.
Yeah, I mean, you know, even with hiring of the rec director, you know, hopefully that'll be a priority.
Yep.
That ain't nothing like having your own. You know. So that's all.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the discussion we had when interviewing and meeting with that candidate was the idea of, you know, developing, number one, watching through this comprehensive plan process, that hopefully that would rise to the top. From just listening in a matter of 6 or 8 months that I've been here, that's been over and over again, from pickleball to kids' activities, you know, flag football back, basketball back, those type of things. So hopefully that's gonna come out of that comprehensive plan from our community. But also, you know, looking at the idea of developing a master plan for recreation, parks, and beautification, and having that person drive that, and working with the council to kind of, what is our plan long-term? Because the fact is, I mean, in fact, we made a comment to them, is we don't own a lot of our own parks. We lease them, you know, the arrangement. So how do we begin to develop that long-term?
Well, I think part of that's getting a funding mechanism, which we've discussed in the past, and getting back on that next legislative session too. But I mean, that's a big part of it, so. All right. Councilman Reed, anything else? You good? All right. Councilman Zimmerman? Good. Just a quick follow-up. I know we had a formal complaint about some chickens in the city limits. Is that's being addressed?
Citation was given Friday. They have 30 days to remove them.
Okay.
What is it, chicken?
Yeah.
They'll keep us updated on
Cove
that.
or make Spanish
Yeah.
acres.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that.
I might have one additional thing if you finish.
Okay. Yeah, one more. And then Jason actually got, this might be able to help me with this one. I got a call, and it's nothing new in that area, but St. Charles, they've had the red flag out, and I'll try to get with Scotty as well on it, but had the red flag based on the bacteria levels, and I know there's been plenty of, and there's been a lot of data, and when the outfalls projects were in place last year and a couple years prior to that, did we ever get those analytics from DEQ on what that bacteria, that caca is coming from? I mean,
I don't know offhand. I'd have to
okay.
pull some records on it.
And I'll try to reach out and find out. I got a
County
call.
probably has some information on that as well.
And just see. Okay. Because I heard the duck pond, and we heard, you know, could it be a breaking sewage? I think we dismissed a few of the theories on it, but it's still, nonetheless, it's, you know, it's still winter and haven't had much rain, and we're still having those flags just right in that spot. And we know that's where one of the main outfalls is outfall 12, and so I just didn't know if we found kind of root cause on that. But I'll do some digging too.
Duck Pond flows out by Stanislaus.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
On the north side
Yeah.
of the rock pile.
So I don't know. I mean, it's mainly by the Ballantyne St. Charles is where down to Romanita. So
The only thing through there is some of the drainage through Christ Episcopal and all back through there coming in, through that area.
Yeah.
That's part of what, helped fund the Ramonita, or get the Ramonita sewer project approved for those upgrades, that Forts Main and that lift station there.
Yeah. Okay.
Some of those beach closures.
Okay. All right. But I'll check with our county rep, see if they got a little more. Okay. Councilman Knobloch, you said you had one more thing?
Yeah, I noticed that there's this, water leak over there by the corner market. What's up with that?
Trying to find a way to cut that water off without shutting everything down all the way to the highway and everything else. But it's on that radar, it's coming out the fire hydrant. So, the only way that they can find right now to do it is it would have to be shut off somewhere down around Subi down there, all the way down, and everything back to the highway businesses and all. So they're trying to look, supposed to be a valve somewhere that can isolate this, and that's what they're looking for.
They call Buddy. Buddy knows where every valve is.
He can't find this one.
They forgot to put that one in.
It could be under the road but they've tried showing where it is on the map showing.
Also, I was in Diamond Head yesterday, and they were cutting utilities in, and they blow holes under the street instead of cutting them. Yeah, I mean, they were just going straight
Do
through.
that on some.
But you gotta get to the main to
You gotta
tap
get to
it.
the main
you have
down
to.
there.
Yeah.
We'll do that for gas lines, some blow gas lines across the water line. When you gotta go down to the main, that's when we have to cut. We got to cut Main Street right down there.
And
That new house is going in back through there.
They're doing some cutting.
Hmm?
They're cutting some streets.
And that's one of the things we need to look at, and what Ronnie's putting together on that, is the expense, when we take and subdivide lots and allow that to be done, and then we have to go back in and add connections, and the road has to be dug up. To us, we feel like that should be on the homeowners.
Absolutely.
Now, if it's a lot that's there, an existing lot, and whenever it was put in, and it was just missed, for whatever reason, doesn't have a tap there, then okay, we missed that as a city whenever that project was done, that's one thing. But when we allow lots to be divided up, and we have to go back in and cut that.
When I did in Pass Christian, I made divided a piece of property up, and they made me pay for those.
Yeah, Ronnie's putting that together.
And all of it.
Hope to have that information soon, on the cost and all. But in this situation here, again, we have to do this to a contractor because we don't have the trench boxes. I think it's 10, 12 feet down, Jason. Yeah. So, we're not able to do it. We have to outsource this. And it's an expense that I feel like should be passed on to the homeowner. So when they're splitting these lots, they're not doing it out of courtesy. They're doing it to make a whole bunch of money. So, something we need to start looking at and doing. We'll have it, that's one of the things Ronnie is working on, trying to put together on that.
All right.
And Gene, I'll get him to research what passed too.
Yeah.
Get that information as well. I know he's got a lot out there that he's trying to put together, but I'll get him to make sure we get that information from them.
Yeah, that was a few years back, but they required it to be done by the contractor or the landowner.
And we've done that from times. We just need to make sure we do it ahead of time. They know this.
All right, that wraps up council business. Caitlin, do we have anybody that signed up for public forum? Anybody that's left standing out there that wants to speak? No? All right, Mr. Kenichi, engineer's report.
Okay, we already covered the first item, so we appreciate you guys working with us and the police department on that. I've got some updates in the report on various projects. I can address those if you have any particular questions. I would like you to look at the community center repairs. We do have some cost estimates for those. We've got a couple of options there, so take a look at that and see if you have any questions. Other than that, I'm here to answer anything you may have.
You messed me up with them 2 sideways sheets on the bottom.
Yeah, right.
Yeah?
I'd move all my
Yeah,
everything.
everything's move over when you try to blow it up.
Oh, the layouts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But those are some paving cost estimates in there too that we've been saying we're
Yeah, I
working
was
on.
looking at those, that Felicity Street as well as Dunbar Avenue
Yeah.
culverts. That's cool, thank you. So the pilings on the inlet of culvert are blocking?
Yeah.
The way they, when they
Yeah,
put the
that's,
little bridge
it's
in?
right in the middle of the box culvert. And then the force main on the other side is
there.
pretty much right at the flow line too,
Right.
so they can both get hung up with debris and
Right.
cause some backups. I mean, I'd hate to see the force main get damaged, an active force main.
Yeah. Info,
Definitely have a beach closure if that thing blew out.
yeah.
Good.
We good?
Good.
Thank you, everybody.
Alrighty.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Going once, going twice. Thank you.
Rolling.
City clerk's report. Mike, what you got for me?
Pretty simple, just our motion to approve the docket of claims 23-013 dated March 21, 2023 in the amount of $1,865,970.60. I haven't received any questions from y'all.
About the senior center, Mike. Water bill's going up.
Huh?
Water bill's going up at senior center. It's $1,100 this month.
You put in a new
They
meter?
went and fixed some toilets.
And that ain't a toilet leaking. I don't know what the heck that is, but
Yeah, they've been over there and did manual reads.
they just turn it off and see if the water quits flowing.
They have, they've done it all.
There's nothing going through the meter.
They hoping that the last toilets they replaced was the problem. I don't know.
It's going up though. Well, $600. Now it's $1,100.
Yeah. I don't know, Doug.
I'll tell you
I think
that,
we're gonna
they ran
eventually
for
pull
about
that meter.
4 days nonstop the whole time, and my bill went from from $50 to over $150 for 4 days. So it's capable of.
Right.
It's
a leaking
capable, if
toilet
it's
can
running full,
run it
but
up quick.
still. They
Run it
over
up
there, I
quick.
think tomorrow they're gonna check it again to see what the reading is.
I know we're paying ourselves, but just
Yeah, still.
still coming out of it's coming out of the general fund budget going to utility fund.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a
Not a
apples
win-win.
for apples.
No.
Another thing, Mississippi Main Street, we've always done Mississippi Main Street.
We used to.
Okay, now we just started, this is the first annual payment dues this year now?
Yeah, this is strictly what we talked about the last one as an associate member, just so we have access to their training and other things.
Okay, I thought we did it before and I missed it, but, so this is the new.
Mike Wavers used to be big on it.
Yeah, we rejoining with this $500 annual fee.
And somebody actually put in my box a 1991 version of the application
Well, that's what I was asking.
from it.
We haven't annually been paying this $500.
No.
New charge from what Nikki was talking about.
Yeah, but that was Councilman DeSalvo.
No, this is an annual dues that you got to pay just to be a member.
Yeah,
This
that
is
was just
basic
for the,
dues, means put your name in a little book at the very bottom.
So we're.
It's not making you a Main Street community. You're not certified.
Okay, all right.
It's just
It
Strictly
just
giving you
opens up the
access
grants,
to 'em.
things, that type of access,
the very
training
bottom tier.
and everything. To move further would be a
You gotta spend more money to
That's
be a
when you jump up.
commitment.
$500. You don't get grants. You get recognized as being a Main Street community.
What are we getting ready to make a motion on something?
But
The
City clerk
yeah.
report.
it's good to.
That's what we're discussing right
Yeah.
now.
Yep. That's it. That's all my question.
I don't know when we got out of it, Doug.
Yeah, I didn't.
it's
Time
been-
we put back, but we were in it for.
Katie might have been over it last.
All right, motion to approve docket of claims.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Seal,
second.
second by Councilman DeSalvo. Any discussion with the motion?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 7-0. Next up is the consent agenda. Council, any questions?
No questions.
No question.
Quick one on the wastewater, the income and expense. Why are we so upside down this month on that one? I think we're on the wastewater income. It's on page 67 of the revenue and expense. I think wastewater income, we're at 68,000 this current period, but then the expense of it was about 100 and
That's on valves. We're ordering ahead to try to stay up on gas valves, MIUs, that type
So
thing.
it's that one time.
I think we just approved 40-something thousand last
Last-
meeting
yes.
Okay.
for stuff, it's just trying to stay ahead with code. Some stuff now is 82 weeks out.
So that's coming out of capital expense though, right? Or, no, that's just in
It's
general.
under-
That's
general
coming
operating.
out. And Gary asked last meeting about moving
Contractual
some money.
services is what it's coming out.
Gary, we're gonna move some money, have some money pushed over that way on the next docket.
Yeah, 'cause I was looking and I was
But it's
getting ready to
only
bring that up.
utility,
The municipal, the utility operating fund had $1 million in it. And we're spending, we're paying 284 out of it, even 789. I think we need to move about 300,000 from the municipal.
I think we asked maybe for 4,
4, yeah.
so it'll be on the next docket to move it.
And move that into the
Capital
capital maintenance.
Cool.
You know, that's, again, trying to keep up with supplies and everything, and what we're running into now. The MIUs we're using for our gas meters no longer being made. We do send some repairs out and everything. We was able to find some. I think that's what we got at the last meeting approved. So we're looking to see for a new vendor to come in that will, and we think we found one that will read those MIUs and the MIUs we have now
The Neptunes were becoming obsolete.
on the
Maybe
gas.
On the gas, okay.
They still gonna be there for the water.
Okay.
But so we've got to find a replacement for the gas, and we think we found somebody, that way we can use their readers, and it's gonna read both of them, so.
Cool.
Councilman Reed, did you have a question?
Yes, Gary, didn't, the Rotary Club set aside some funds for the community hall?
Yeah, originally they had $150,000 set aside. And, no, it was overage,
I think
okay, and so they
three-
put it into a fund that's in Gulfport. And to date, we spent $30,000 on new air conditioners, and we repainted the inside a few years ago. So there's roughly about $100,000 in the account.
Let me ask a question. Okay, Jason gave us this estimate on for community hall. I don't know whether Rotary would do this here. If Rotary would give some funds to this project, could we as a city go ahead and get this project going with the rest of this the funds out of road and bridge maybe, or maybe some of the
I think we can take that, myself, I think that money's set aside for emergencies for that building when we need it. I don't think creating that out front, again, that's just, I would rather see that money sit there for when needed for that building.
You talk the
I
parking
think we can fund this
What's
through
that again?
About the
infra-
parking improvement.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the original intent of that funding was to use it, to fix things inside, that, that would go wrong or awry,
That's
like
my
the air conditioning units and big stuff like that, like or like a refrigerator or something. You need to get new cooling devices or something, I mean, it's just any number of things that could go wrong on the inside and keep it nice or whatever.
Okay.
Or roof leak, like I think they had a roof leak a while back, but they didn't do anything with that. But it did buy 2 new big commercial units a couple years ago.
But, yeah, we're looking at moving forward as soon as we get the agreement and everything on Stanislaus on that end for parking.
Mm-hmm.
Cause on the triangle part across from the depot,
Right.
that's, I think if we get that going, that's gonna create a bunch of parking on that end down there and everything.
So where are we gonna look at getting the funding from to do this?
Road, bridge, what's the sales tax diversion, modernization.
I think you still have some funds left in that grant.
Yeah.
Golf Course Restoration Fund.
So, I think we do have some.
But
That's
because
left
it's
in the
tied,
grant
MDA
itself.
would approve it.
Now, the, what projects, the offered money, what projects could you only use that money for?
We put in for sewer
Just sewer?
lining is what we asked to match our funds for.
Okay,
And we've done the grant agreement and everything for that.
right,
That's been sent off now.
okay. All right, so if we're looking forward and going forward with it, and you said as soon as, what, Mike? As soon as.
We're looking at Stanislaus, moving on to Stanislaus Inn down there in front of Depot first.
Mhm.
We'll know more on what we have left over from the grant and everything, how much funds is left over from that, and whatever other funds we may have. Whether we can put some, I guess, on the building itself, those grants, we're waiting to see where we're going with that. You know, the Amtrak grants, the railroad grants, I think
Right,
there's like a 270 and a 270 match. Something like in that order for a total of 540. You know, if some of that can be used for the parking areas as well, and maybe use some of that. You know, one of the things we need to start thinking about back there is, you know, trains coming. How we're gonna get people from the track? I know it's in the private world, but how are we gonna get people from the railroad tracks to wherever they going? You know, there's been some questions asked about people do this and that, you know, so there'll be some opportunities coming from the private sector, you know, may ask for a lease and this and that, which I guess we can go out for bids, golf cart, you know, you're gonna have some of your services and all, but again, you know, we have to have a way to provide the people an opportunity to go somewhere.
My only thing on that, and I do agree, but I just would want to see it, once you allow it for one, then you're gonna have every other one.
Well, we can
and
bid
put
it
it
out.
For a bid, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, this isn't gonna be handed to anyone. It'll go out for bid just like anything else.
Be like a yearly bid process.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you know, a few years so they can commit to upgrades and everything, whatever they need. Yeah, and it won't be free.
Old blue eyes.
Yeah.
yeah. So we are gonna check and see if some of the, Amtrak money can be used for this here. We're just weighing our options, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't think we can use them at the community hall, but we may be able to use them for the parking out front.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's good, Councilman Reed. All right. Any other questions before we move on for motion?
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Seal, second by Councilman Reed. Discussion. Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 7-0. Next up is minutes approval for City Council first regular meeting, March 7th, 2023.
Motion approved, no corrections required.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Seal, second by Councilman Hoffman.
Aye. Aye.
Oh, aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 7-0. Next up is attorney's report. Ms. Smith, do we have anything?
I do. I would like to talk about the harbor litigation. Do we need to go into executive session for that?
And can we add Turner Street? Just any updates? Drainage?
Probably by the time we get any updates on that.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Going through the bush log?
yes.
We had waiting on approval on it. Okay. Yeah. Met with attorneys out there, waiting for it in writing. She's gonna allow us to go through and clean that.
Okay, good. About,
Met her, you know.
All right. So
Do we
just
need a motion to go into closed session?
Closed
correct.
session?
Yeah.
Motion to go closed session.
Second.
All right. Motion by Councilman Knobloch, second by Councilman Hoffman. Vote the motion.
aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 7-0 to go into closed session, and then we'll need one for executive session.
Make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
All right. Motion by Councilman Knobloch, second by Councilman Hoffman. Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 7-0 to go into executive session at 7:04 to discuss harbor
Litigation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.